Hey, welcome back. Today I have a crazy story. I'm sure you already read it on the thumbnail or the title or whatever. And this is how we got a car like literally stolen from us from a renter and then how we got it back. So just gonna dive in. This was a private reservation. Lady calls, seems super nice, super nice. Hey, just need a car for the weekend. Like, okay, let me see what I have. Okay, we have a 2021 Jeep Cherokee available. Here's the rates, this match. Said, okay, that sounds good. I'll be in at 5. And okay, perfect. She comes in with her son. Seems really nice. Got all the paperwork done. Everything seemed legit. She takes off and she's doing a reservation. Everything's going good. Sunday comes around. She said she might want to extend it. So Sunday comes around. Hey, do you want to extend it or do you want to bring the car back? She said, well, let me extend for a couple more days till Wednesday. And okay, totally fine. Take the payment. All good. And then Wednesday comes around. By the way, we take a deposit, $250 deposit. Now it's a little more. Depends on credit, debit card 500, credit card 250, just in case. Most big car rental agencies only take credit card, but we like to give the benefit of the doubt with debit card because a lot of people don't have credit cards. So I know it's just easier for us. So once it comes around, ask her, do you want to extend it again? And no response. So I thought, that's weird. We'll make sure to get back to me a little later today. Text again, or you want to extend your car? Nothing. Try to call her? Nothing. But getting a little worried at this point, but maybe something's going on. Next day comes around, reach out, nothing. Next day comes around, reach out, nothing. My brother calls her, my brother texts her, nothing. So I'm starting to get a little worried at this point. I'm like, well, maybe something's wrong with her, maybe something wrong with the car. So getting really worried for sure. This is crazy. This is the only car in all 20 something cars we did not have a tracker. So of course the one car gets stolen, and we have no excuse for not having a tracker. Came in, went out on a reservation right away. We had a little bit of time in between the last reservation and her, and we skipped it. We missed it. Totally missed it. And of course, the one that seems to be perfect reservation, loses contact. So I go, okay, well, let's give it another day. Let's see if maybe she reaches back out. Nothing. We're on day 4 of it being missing. So we look at our addresses, and we had a address on our ID, and then we have an address that she gave us. We're like, okay, well, let's try the address that she gave us. Go to it. And we talk to them, and we find out that she's been evicted from there, and that she shows up every once in a while, but that pretty much like she doesn't live there anymore. She comes back to get stuff because she's in the process of like moving out. But so that address was pretty much dead. I'm like, oh, geez. Went to the last address, the one on our ID. It's nothing. There's nothing even there. So we talked to the people at the address that we had, and we said, please, hear anything, see anything, please let us know. And we gave them the information and the situation. They super nice people, and they said, okay, we'll let you know if we can tell you anything. One day we had a call from them that, hey, just to let you know, we think your car is on the premise. So we're like, oh, the crap. We're headed over there right now. Please keep us posted. Show up. She's gone. That happened a couple more times throughout maybe a week period from it being gone. So now it's been gone for 7 days. Like, holy crap, we just cannot figure this out. We through the loop of talking to a bunch of people, we got another address for her, which was the newest address. We showed up to that one, and she'd been evicted from that one, and they were actually suing her because she didn't pay any rent. So now we have a bunch of dead ends right now, and we kind of showed up to the addresses every day or sent somebody or something. We kept checking up on these places, and we were getting nothing. And then finally, I didn't know what day it was. We talked to a couple private investigators, and we're talking about the different tactics that they use, and they're telling us about this tracking method where they text or call the person, and they pretend to be, or I don't know how it works, but they say, we've been trying to deliver a package to your address. Please let us know if this is right or if you need to change it or something. So we pretty much had somebody do that to see if we could get current address, and if it worked. We got an address that we didn't already have. So that was huge for us. So first thing we do, of course, the minute I get that, immediately go to it. Go check it out. Go around it. Nothing. There's nothing there. So at first I was kind of upset because I thought, oh, this is a dead address. We're going to get nothing. So we hired a Retrieval company to go to that address 2 times. One, they went that night at 11 p.m. And then they went the next morning at, I think it's like 3 or 4 a.m., which are, I mean, perfect, what you'd think would be perfect windows for them to get it. At this point also, we had gone to the police to file a police report, a stolen car report. They said, no, you can't do that since you have a contract. I don't know the lingo or the verbiage, but it's like a civil case. And so we couldn't report stolen. What we could do is, or what we could have done is a conversion notice, which means, I think it means if somebody's like, if it's been gone for some period of time, they treat it as if they're trying to transfer the title into their name. So essentially, they turn it from a conversion notice into a stolen car. And we try to go through that process. And the problem was, you needed very, very specific lingo and like the law, like the numbers, 15-45 or whatever. That's not what it is, but something like that in the contract that stated that specifically, or else is invalid. And of course, we got our contract from our insurance. I mean, it didn't have that. So we were just hitting dead ends on dead ends. These addresses were going nowhere. The police can't do anything. And then we talked to the address that she was living at, somebody there, something like that. And they said, yeah, she lives here, but we've never seen this car before, this Jeep. And at this point, I felt defeated. We got the news of the police can't do anything, and the news of she's been driving a different car the same day. I just felt I felt like it was over. I felt like our car was gone. I don't know where it was, whether she sold it, took it to Mexico to scrap it. I have no idea, but at that day, I felt like it was over and we had just gotten screwed. Our car was completely gone and there's nothing that we could do. So that was a tough defeat. There's just nothing. And another thing is our insurance company couldn't do anything because we didn't have that protection on it. Another thing is probably on day 7 or 8, I called her insurance company because, maybe there's some connection there. We've never dealt with this, but I called them to see if, there's something they could do for us or we could work something out. Called them, and we found out that the day after she rented the car, her insurance company canceled her. They kicked her out because she wasn't paying. So she was getting kicked out from all these places. She was not paying her insurance. I mean, just heaps of trouble. And there's no way where we could do a background check or nothing that we know of right now. So again, we're at a dead point, absolutely nothing. And I had meeting in Tempe, which is close to, she was in that area further east. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm checking out. Let me just Google myself, see if it's there. If it's not, I had nothing to lose. I mean, we already lost everything at this point. So I show up to the address, nothing. I'm going around. It's kind of like a square-ish, big apartment complex. Nothing. Last corner, turn it. I see a Jeep. I'm like, I don't know. Look close. I'm like, holy crap. That's the Jeep. That's our Jeep. I can see the template, the window, because we just bought it, and we only had a template, and we didn't have the new license plate in it. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is it. We found it. The search is over. We're getting our car back today. Pull my car, and here's the car parked in right here. There's a pole right here, and there's like a curb right here, wall right here. So there's no way to get out. No possible way. Pull my car up right here. Closed. Nothing. I mean, I called. We had a spare key made or we had an extra key just in general. So I had the car blocked in. Nobody was outside or anything. They're probably up in their apartment. Called my brother. Had him bring the key, bring a friend. They're about 45 minutes out. And I'm just sitting there waiting. And I look up in one of the apartments and I see ruffling on the shutters. I'm like, someone's looking at me. Someone's watching me. And I see somebody come out on the patio from that same apartment, and it's the person that rented from us. I'm like, holy crap. This is either going to go really bad, and they're going to come out and do something, or I don't know how desperate or what they're willing to do to either get the car back or I don't know. I felt uneasy for sure. Sitting there, more ruffling, people looking through the windows. renter came out and like watched me, and she went back inside pretty quickly. And then I see somebody come down with the keys for the Jeep, then lock the car, and they're looking at me like they want to talk to me. They're walking towards the car. Here's the car. Here's me blocked in. They're walking over to, they're looking at me like they want to say something. I roll my window down, and the person says, "Hey, can you move your car? I need to get my car out of here." So, well, actually, this is my car. This is my car. I rented it to, whoever, and I'm taking this home today. But the person that came up wasn't the renter. It was somebody completely else, maybe a boyfriend or a husband or a friend or something. I don't know who it was, but they're like, "Oh, okay." Like they didn't know. So like, well, can I at least get my stuff out? Because I asked for the keys. So can I get the keys for it, please? Like, yeah, can I get my stuff out first? I'm like, yeah, of course, get your stuff out. It's fine. So they get their stuff out, come out of the background, give me the keys. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to go talk to them. As in, like, they just didn't know what was going on. Sitting there waiting. My brother finally shows up. We get the car. We look at it together. I waited to do that. I just wanted to make sure I had eyes on the car and my car and stuff. Get far, give our keys to the body, check it out. It's just stuff everywhere, like little, just trash. Nothing of value or anything, just trash. Seats were stained. They were like material. They weren't leather. They were fabric. So stains. One of the tires was really low pressure, almost flat. So it smelled. Somebody was smoking in it for sure. So got the car, gave our buddy the keys. He took off with it, and then we went up to the door that for the address we were given. And we talked to the person that we thought the renter was there. And I guess earlier when I was sitting there waiting for the car after the renter had come out on the balcony, I watched them like come down the stairs and walk away, kind of like away from the complex. I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe they're going somewhere and they're going to come back. Went upstairs to the other person, or went upstairs to the place where they were letting a knock on the door, and the boyfriend or husband or whatever came out, and they said, yeah, I had no idea what's going on. I was filled in on the situation, and the renter doesn't live here anymore. I told them to leave. So it's cool. Okay. So, and the reason we went up is we wanted to figure out how the payment was going to work, because they still owed us. It was 13 days that the car was missing past when they had paid. So 13 days, a cleaning fee for sure, because we had to get heavy shampoo on the carpets. That thing needed a very hefty detail. And I guess that was really it. But went up, and now went up to the place. The person told us that they left and they weren't going to come back. So we got the car back. We immediately put a tracker in it. Have our key, a spare key, of course. But that was a pretty big lesson. I think the biggest lesson that we learned is probably checking on the insurance if you're going to do a private reservation, just because we want to make sure that the person has an up-to-date insurance and nothing could possibly go wrong. Because if all else were to fail, that wouldn't be something to fall back on. No insurance. So another thing, which is definitely the biggest lesson, is trackers. If you're going to have a car, if you're going to rent to have a car, you have to remember that it's an asset. It's something of value, and you need to make sure you're watching. You need to make sure that you know exactly what's going on with it, because if something like this were to happen, and it's going to happen or it might happen, you want to make sure you're covered. It's not worth it. If we could have gotten the car the day of, we could have saved ourselves who knows how much hassle. So much time was put into it, and it was worth it, but it could have been easier. So spare key, tracker, check in on the renter, make sure that they have insurance and all the proper things before you give them the car. Yeah, I guess that's the best you can do. But that's what happened to us. We finally got the car back. We retrieved it. Took a lot of time and a lot of energy, but definitely worth it. We had the car back on the road with another renter, and we definitely learned our lesson. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something of value. I'm sure you already know about the trackers, but again, I can't tell you how important trackers are, whether it's Bounty, which is what we use, or All-Star, or there's like so many different ones, and there's each of them have their own benefits, but just look into it for sure if you don't have it already. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something about you, and I'll see you in the next video.